Hello and welcome to the very first episode of our Doctor Who podcast, Tardis Talk. Today I am joined by none other than Corey Swain. Hello, Corey.
Hello.
We will be talking about basically just loads of things about the 60th anniversary. There's also going to be a form in the description for you to fill out. And if you're in the Discord and you've given yourself the Dalek role, next week, 1 hour after the next week's podcast, there will be a special segment where I'll be doing a private video just for that Discord and just for the people where I go through the responses of the survey. But, let's jump straight into it. First of all, Corey, you know how, that the rumor is now that the three specials aren't going to be dropping throughout all of next year, but just in November of next year. How do you feel about
Um, Not great. I can't lie.
that? Yeah, I feel like it's a bit
I,
of
d-
a
I don't
wasted
think
opportunity.
the 2009 specials and the specials last year. Okay, the specials last year, this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Did work being spread out
Yeah, so it's a bit annoying that they're gonna kind of all air in November. But what about Series 14? When do you kind of see that airing?
I think it could be like April 2024 or something.
Yeah, I can definitely seeing it being this spring. I mean, I saw somewhere
Because
because
RTD series always used to be in spring.
yeah, I think spring also works better than like January. Like with Spyfall and that season, season 12, series 12, whatever. But like it could be series 12 because they said Shooty's first one will be sorry, not series 12. It could be January because Shooty's first proper one will be a festive story. That could mean Christmas next year, which is probably more likely, or New Year's Day 2024, followed by series like series 12. So it really could be sooner than we think. But I do think it will be spring, and I think it will probably work better in the spring as well. But then it could. I just think they're going to get a lot more attention from it if it's in the spring. I don't know why, but I feel like if you have the 60th and then like literally a month or so later and you've got series 14, it doesn't. It's still going to feel very like linked into everything. And I think if you want to start this whole brand new era, maybe doing it in the spring, especially because spring is everything's coming back to life. It makes more sense.
Mm.
I think
Yeah,
because
and also because I'm thinking back over because obviously we've had like it's got later in the year
mm,
every year since um like series 6,
yeah.
and I always prefer it when it was like to sort of April and that because then you had the series and then you had like 6 months whatever and then it was Christmas
Yeah,
special.
like I think
uh,
my only problem with it being later on and earlier on in the year is that once it's done, that's it. Like that, like you said, there is Christmas, but apart from Christmas, there's nothing really else. But in the new era, which is gonna obviously have multiple spin-offs, I don't think that's gonna have to be a problem anymore because we're gonna
yeah,
have to wait like maximum 3 months before we get like our next thing of Doctor Who.
I mean I also think that it having the bigger gap between Christmas and the series
Yeah, that
is
works a lot
better
better.
for the Christmas special because like we had the uh was it series
Well,
it
we
was
had
Flux.
yeah, we had
Flux
Flux.
had like 2 weeks or something between the end and the Christmas special.
Yeah, like it wasn't long at all, and it definitely worked having the gap. I think especially Sea Devil shows that as well when like you drop a little trailer for the centenary and then there was a long gap there, and then it works quite well in their favor to do that. I think especially as well as it could be cool is you have, let's say, the series in spring, then you have, I don't know, around October time in the autumn you have a spin-off, and then you go back to Doc 2 for Christmas Day for a special.
Mm.
Like that could be the ideal way of doing it. I mean, I want multiple spin-offs a year, but honestly, at this point, I'll take any spin-offs I can get,
True.
as long as it's not
As
Class
long as
Season
it's
2.
not class.
Yeah. If it's Series 2, like how it wasn't Big Finish when you've got like Daleks and everything popping up, then yeah, because that's like an actual Doctor Who spin-off. But Class Series 1 is just a show that happens to be set in the Doctor Who universe. Like,
and has the Doctor in.
yeah,
Like that is the only thing that makes it anything like Doctor Who related is that one episode has the Doctor in the TARDIS.
yeah, like it's literally it's set in the Doctor universe. He pops up because aliens, and bye. It's up to you now. Enjoy. Like I really don't think the 10th Doctor would have left and be like, yeah, you're a bunch of kids, but you can fucking deal with this. Then again, Capaldi is very like that. It's like, yeah, you can deal with it. If it goes wrong, then I'll step in. But until then, you can have fun, just like all dying, and yeah, have fun. And one of you can get pregnant with some weird little alien, and then you can have your eye poked out and shave your hair. Yeah. But that Cabinet of Souls thing is very Time War. I did actually like that. That could have been interesting. I wonder if that was maybe like an idea for the 50th with that moment, a scrapped idea.
Mm.
But so Series 14, we think probably spring 2024. How many episodes and how long do you think those are gonna be? Because Chibnall's whole thing was, they're gonna be like 65-minute. I mean, they averaged more around 50 minutes. I think it was more the specials that were longer.
Mm.
But how long do you think Series 14 are gonna be in episode length, and how many are we gonna get?
I'd like it to go back to like the 12 or 13
Mm,
and
I think it will,
have them be like sort of 45 to 50 minutes.
because I think especially for Series 14 it will, because you've got the budget and you've got the time. Like, if it's not out till spring 2024, even if it was like January 2024, you've got like over a year. Because if they're starting filming next month, they've got a very long time then to film all of that. With
Mm.
the added budget, so like to get loads of extra crew on board, they can get that done really quick, like compared to other seasons. But yeah, I think 12 or
Uh,
13. But how long will they be? Will they go back to the 45 in his era? Because obviously they had more episodes. Or will they stick to being like an hour, 5 minutes?
I mean, I think 45 to 50 is better. It can be having the long ones is good, but the story has to um it has to suit the story. It's like
Yeah.
it worked with Dare the Doctor, it worked with Power of the Doctor. It worked kind of with Flux, but that was
It
because
worked
it
for like like Revolution of the Daleks and stuff.
yeah. Um but I think for just a standard series, 45 to 50 is probably better.
Yeah. I think I do think definitely though 50 over 45, because you don't want to have anything feel rushed. And if you're 45, depending how big your plot is, you might fall into that every now and then. So if you go to the 50, it just kind of lowers that risk.
Mm.
But yeah, I think definitely there will be more episodes than Chibnall era, like per season, and I think it'll be a nice mix of not like too long. We've got some scenes where nothing's really happening, because that did seem to happen every now and then in the Chibnall era. There was a lot of like wasted scenes where it's just like, what are we kind of doing here? There's not even any good dialogue to fill in. But yeah, what do you think about? Because I know the VFX for for Flux and for Chibnall era was really good. Like, I think you can see that in like the regeneration energy, the flux kind of thing itself, and just all the VFX in the Chibnall era, even like down to the title sequence and the vortex shots and everything. It was really, really good. Especially though, I think a really good example people use is that Dalek ship in Revolution. Like, and the
Yeah.
Daleks themselves in Revolution, when they're like flying into that fake TARDIS. I think obviously it's going to Bad Wolf now, so it's a whole new team. Do you think they should go back to the more basic-ish VFX, or with the budget now that they have, do you think they should keep going with what they've got, with like the really high class fancy visuals?
I mean, obviously having the really fancy ones is nice and everything. Um, but the only issue is they're spending more on it, which means it's although yes, they've got a bigger budget, it's taking away from money that could be spent elsewhere.
Yeah, I
So
also think
they
that.
need to find like a good balance, I think.
I mean, we've seen it from the 60th filming and in that trailer, like when that car flips, like unit Jeep, you can see that's all practical. Like you can see that really easily. So I definitely think even if they do have the budget to like afford all the VFX they want, they should still look into doing practical as much as they can because it does look better. Like it just adds an extra kind of element to it that when you can tell that it's practical, you know. I feel like Jodie Zero missed that in a couple of places.
Yeah, that is one thing that I will give to the Jodie era. Whilst I agree with what you said, it did a lot of it did look very visually appealing.
Yeah, like the color grading as well, and like the high resolution cameras, they should definitely keep with those, and like that kind of way of filming, like that look,
Yeah.
a very clean slated look. And I think from the 60th trailer, like when the Tardis landing in Camden, I think they are gonna do that, which is good. But there was a lot of speaking about kind of directing and stuff. There was a lot of close-ups in the Chibnall era, like, with her generation, you can see that. And then as soon as like Rachel takes over, it just changes from a close up to like a wider shot. I think they,
I
they should
mean, yeah.
definitely be more experimental with like the shots that they do. Because Tortured had some very weird shots. Maybe they could look into doing stuff like that every now and then.
Well, also because was it Rachel did series 9, didn't
Yeah,
she? 9 and 10 or something. And a lot of series 9 and 10 is very like, especially Heaven Sent. The shots in that are all
yeah, it's like very
just
cinematic.
yeah.
And I think that's
I think
definitely the
that's
way to
one
go.
of the things that make series 9 so good.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's like the jump from series 4 to 5, like how that looks much visually better in 5 and everything. It feels like that
Yeah.
with like 8 and 9. Like nine's
Yeah.
like, okay, we've taken a step up. And then, 10 again, it was like we've taken another one. And then 11, it was like, okay, we've like jumped forward now. Like they really were going places with that.
Mm.
How do you then, with budget? I've seen a lot of talk about, we always get guest actors and things, like, for we had loads. We're always getting them. Like since series 1, we've had loads of guest actors.
Yeah.
But, with Disney on board, with Sony backing Bad Wolf, there really is a lot of room now for bigger guest actors. Like we've had a lot of big British guest actors on there, but being realistic now, they could easily afford someone like, you know, if they wanted to, they probably could maybe get Millie Bobby Brown for like an episode, or like Andrew Garfield or something like that. I know Andrew Garfield was in it before, but that was before he went proper mainstream.
Mm. I definitely think that's would be a good thing.
I think it would be a good thing as well. I just don't think. I think they need to be careful of how often they do it. You don't want to be like, it's
Oh yeah,
like,
you don't want to like be shoving it down people's throats, but like they've done with Neil Patrick Harris,
yeah, yeah,
like
like that, like that. That works perfectly. But you don't want to be like, the episode 1 has Millie Bobby Brown. Episode 2 has Tobey Maguire. Episode 3 has
which is
Tom
what Series
Holland.
11 did, and it was fucking shit. So
It's almost like, okay, we've got this special actor. Let's make the story all about them because they're gonna be the selling point for the episode. The selling point for the episode still should always be plot and writing, and like but plot, that should be always be the selling point, not oh this plot's kind of like been a bit it's not the best, but we've got really good actor, so you should definitely watch this.
which is exactly what Series 11 did.
Yeah, I mean he did learn from that though. I think you can kind of see in series 12 when we had who was it who played the dude in Spyfall, who's working with
Oh,
the master.
Stephen Fry.
Yeah, no, not Stephen Fry, the one who worked with the master. He ran that tech company who we never saw again, who just disappeared.
Oh,
Lenny Henry, I think. Is that his name?
yeah,
Yeah, like that
yeah.
worked a lot better. Um, I can't really think of any other proper guest actors that they had in Series 12, really.
They probably blew all the budget on Lenny Henry.
Yeah, and like having like two like million bloody TARDIS sets with the like the fugitive Doctor and the Master's TARDIS and all of that. But yeah, I think I'm trying to think now. Did they have anyone overly like? Oh, this is the big guest role. I don't think they did, apart from Lenny Henry. Um, but you didn't really need it in that season because you had like the Rose
No.
Doctor show up, the fugitive Doctor. You had the Master. But yeah. So yeah, I think they should definitely be you use them sparingly, but make sure you get some good ones in the next era for guest actors. What about then returning actors? We'll go into like Moffat and Chibnall after, but look, what about returning characters from RTD1?
Uh, I think the only one that I'd like to see potentially is Martha,
Yeah, I think especially in some form of like in unit as
but
well.
the rest of them, I don't think it's necessary. To be fair, I don't think Martha would be necessary, but she's the only one that
She also
I feel
makes
like could make
sense.
sense.
Yeah, like kind of almost
Because like, if they
weirdly
brought
like
Rose back,
yeah, almost weirdly like
just
that. Oh, I don't want to use the Brigadier because I like Kate Stewart's a better example of that. But like like the Brigadier in the classics, like they keep popping up every now and then.
mm,
Like it definitely works. I think that's how Martha should be in like the next era. She keeps popping up every now and then, like only once a series, once in like one spin off or something. Because that's what she did. She had obviously her time in series 3, then she popped up in Torchwood, then she popped up in series 4 twice, and then
yeah,
like
like
we saw her in
they
End of
were
Time.
kind of setting it up so it was like that, and then
Then obviously RTD was like, "Yep, I'm gonna go now, but I'll be back in like a couple years.
yeah, basically.
I'll be back when you need me." He did what Martha did. He was like, "Here's my number, Doctor Who, call it." He's like, "Don't think I'm going anywhere, and when I call it, you better come running." And the BBC called it, and they were like, "Shit." By the way, if you can hear anything, my finger's like bleeding. Yeah, so that's nice. But yeah, I think Martha makes sense. Do you think we could see anyone else? Maybe like, you see, I really don't know if the BBC would do John Barrowman again.
um,
It's a hard one because other things are still using him, but they've gone kind of radio silent. It's obvious that they chose not to use him now because it's very obvious that he was supposed to be Vinda,
mm.
especially in um you know Power of the Doctor. That Jack was obviously meant to be Vinda. I'm just kind
It was
of
just
wondering if maybe in a few years they something might happen and they'll be like, okay, yeah.
because the issue is like, I know this is a sensitive topic, but John Barrowman, I don't think he's a bad person,
No, like
and
whereas Noel Clark, they'd be like, okay, no, you're not coming back. No one likes you. You're a bad person. Then you've got
the
like,
issue the issue with John Barrowman was how he handled people trying to cancel him, where he
yeah,
started blocking people and stuff like that.
very much. You
That
can
was
see that
where
kind
the
of.
issue came from,
You can see that kind of
and
thing
not
happen with like Disney actors a lot. Like there was that person in the Mandalorian who started like tweeting a bunch of stuff, and they fired her.
yeah.
Like they won't touch her now.
Yeah,
So
but she was like racist or something. So,
yeah, no, but there's been other people as well who've like tweeted and they've just dropped them.
but
It's
yeah,
it's almost like
I
there's
mean,
that's not a good idea to do that.
because there was the whole like what Noel Clark did was 10 times worse than what John Barrowman did, and he just kind of like all the heat disappeared from him.
Yeah,
Whereas, but that's because they kind of people use John Barrowman as an excuse to be like, oh well, Noel Clarke did this, but John Barrowman did this,
Yeah. Then it just kind of
and
messed
then
it all up completely. How do you
but
feel about like
yeah,
then returning characters from the Moffat era, including Kate Stewart coming back? Because I mean, we know Unit's in the 60th, but we haven't seen anything of Kate, and I'm wondering if she would be or not.
I'm gonna say just yes
Yeah.
to any character from Moffat era.
Do you think it's likely that we're gonna get anyone for like series
Probably
14?
not, but I wish we do. But that's just
I
because I
wish
want
we
Clara
do.
back. You
Yeah.
you know what I'm trying to say.
I hope we
I
do.
hope we do. Yeah,
Um,
shush. Don't
I wish we do
judge my
too.
speech.
No, yeah, I think Kate Stewart's definitely an obvious one.
I would love to see the Paternoster gang back,
Yeah, so would I.
but
I have a
I mean,
feeling it's not gonna happen.
no, I don't think it would happen. But I want would like to see them because like they were becoming quite a big part
Yeah,
over Series 7.
yeah, they were in
Like
it frequently.
they were in Series 6 and then they kind of disappeared for a bit. Then you had the Snowmen, and then you had Crimson Horror, and then you had Name of the Doctor,
Then a deep breath.
and then Deep Breath, and then they
That
just vanished.
yeah, they just never came back, which is a shame because I think then with Capaldi's Doctor as well would have been really good.
Yeah, like they obviously work really well with 11, but that's because they came in during 11's era.
Mm.
But they were shaping up to be like Kate Stewart or someone like that, a Victorian episode every like once a series or something. But that's just because the Victorian era is one of my favourites for like most things. So
Yeah, yeah, I know. I feel like as well for like Chibnall characters, do you feel like it's too soon to have them back?
uh yes.
Yeah, I feel like are you just saying that so we don't get Yaz?
Yes.
Yes, I think it would be. I think for Series 14 it would be too soon. I think you know maybe later on down the line you could have something be there, like much later down the line. But definitely it would feel too soon to have someone like that
I
back.
mean, to be fair, the only characters that I would want back are either Dan or Graham.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I think as well talking about people like outside of the modern Who era, I think I'd like to see more classic people back. Not even just necessarily classic companions, but like just classic people. Like I know, I'm gonna now list a few companions. I think we're gonna get Mel in the 60th. That's pretty obvious from those leaked videos things. Joe Grant would be nice to have in an episode. I think that'd be really nice to see. Not even like an Earth episode, like an episode where she's in the TARDIS and they leave Earth for something. Um,
Mm.
I think other companions from the classic Who would be great. But just classic characters in general. Like we saw, they went back to the classic unit era in Flux. We could easily get like a classic unit commander or something, or someone like that. Maybe even if they wanted to do a recast of the Brigadier, I've seen there's an actor in Ghosts or something that people are talking about. That could work quite well to do that, to jump between two different eras of unit.
Yeah,
Like world building on a time scale.
could be interesting.
Because they've always done world building of like the modern day Earth where they're landing, like building up characters around that. But they could
Mm.
build up from like two different time zones, like with the Paternoster gang, because you had they were building up people from Clara's family and stuff in Series 7, like those annoying children.
Yeah,
But then they were also building up.
they weren't that
No,
bad.
they weren't that bad. They weren't that bad. It's just when
The
she was like,
children from In the Forest of the Shite was worse.
oh gosh, that was really bad. But that's an example. Danny Pink. They were building up like a whole world for Clara. Danny Pink, other teachers that we saw come back a few times. We know that Courtney, like some recurring characters. And at the same time, we were getting recurring characters in the Victorian era with the Paternoster gang. Like, you were building up two sets of characters in two completely different time zones. Like, that worked really well. I think they should definitely look into doing something like that again. But yeah, what about then, returning characters? I think we're going to get more Doctors in the 60th. I want to say, that waistcoat. I mean, his outfit, someone said it's very adaptable. Take off that tie can easily be tied into a bow tie because it's kind of like flat ended. Um, he's got the waistcoat that kind of looked like 11 and 7, 7B. Especially if you took off that coat, tied up the tie, and had the waistcoat on, that's literally into the TARDIS look. Take off the waistcoat, the coat, and the tie. Then you've got the Capaldi Hal Bent look. Or just stick a hoodie on, and that's easy for Capaldi, isn't it? You just grab something from a shop. But I think we are going to see returning Doctors in the 60th. I think we're going to see some of the ones from Power because I think they're going to be in limbo, in the edge of wherever it's called,
Yeah,
Guardians of the Edge.
yeah. I think we're likely to see them. I would really like to see McGann again.
Yeah,
I think everyone would.
I think he's most
Um,
likely to get a series as well now. I think there was like we were starting to lose hope a bit, and it just kind of became like a fantasy that of like him having a Time War spin off. But it seems that's almost, I don't want to say inevitable because there's nothing really to prove it, but I just feel like it's inevitable now.
it does feel more possible.
I feel like if they're gonna when they go to the drawing board, it's be like, okay, what spin offs do we want to do? They're gonna look at, especially if Disney Plus are doing their own exclusive one, they're gonna want to look at like, okay, what we want to do something that has a Doctor in it to make it feel more Doctor Who-y because they're going to be going into new territory for them. Even if it is led by like Russell, like they're still going to want to have something that's really big for Disney Plus. So they'd
Mm.
probably look into, okay, big potential, big people want it, and it's like it's been waiting for it to happen. And I think a McGann Time War series is going to happen. It's definitely more
Uh,
likely. But yeah, I
yes,
think the Doctors and Guardians of the Edge are going to show up.
I
Maybe
I
maybe
would
some
like to
more.
see 11, but I don't think that's that likely.
I
But
think I think it could
it
be.
would be cool.
I think it really could be because one, his hair. Yeah, I know everyone always says that, but we said that about David Tennant, and he's filming the bloody 60th now, isn't he? So that turned out well.
Yeah, but people were saying that for about 10 years.
Yeah, but it's true. Okay, it doesn't matter. It happened. Um, and also it's just kind of. I feel like we know a lot about the characters in. There's no real character surprises anymore for the 60th. We know all of Donna Shamley there, and they're also going to be leading it like the Doctor and Donna. So there's no extra character surprise. Kate Stewart wouldn't really be a surprise. Like her coming up with the unit isn't necessarily a surprise. It's like, oh, that's nice. She's there. But what would be a
Yeah.
surprise is the 11th Doctor's back in Limbo or something. Because I know you can say, oh, yeah, but why wasn't he there in Power of the Doctor? Well, if Shooty is in the Limbo place, which a lot of people are thinking, you look at the clouds, they look a lot more stormy than they did in Power of the Doctor. Obviously, time's gone wrong somehow in the Doctor's history, hence why Tennant's come up a little bit differently. So Limbo's probably all gone bloody wrong as well. It's all breaking or whatever, like stormy. So then 11 could be popping up. We could get, Fugitive pop up or something. Imagine if we got Sasha Dewan popping up. Like, hold on, I was the Doctor for a minute.
That's true. If because of Sasha, does that make like does he count as an incarnation?
I did a video talking about that. So if anyone's interested, I recommend going and checking it out because I spent a lot of time talking about that. Not a lot of time, but a decent amount to explain it. I think no, because it's just gonna make it even more confusing. I think it's just kind of like like no
I'm
and
just thinking
yes.
because technically, the 10 into 10 regeneration from Series 4, that was an incarnation technically.
Yeah, but that's because that really only became like because I think they still called 1111, didn't they? Like when realistically he
Yeah.
wasn't 11, but like I think people only started to really say he was an incarnation. It went in Time with the Doctor when when the 11th Doctor was dying, and Clara was like, don't you have another left? You're 11, and he was like,
That's true. Yeah.
10 wasted one because he had vanity issues at the time. So that
Wasted one.
proved, like him saying that was like, okay, yeah, that did count. But we haven't had anything so far. I mean, we don't have a number system right now, so we probably never will. That
Oh,
says Jodie
there's
Martin
never
on
going to be a
counts.
proper number system anymore.
I think there
Not
could
after the
be.
fucking Timeless Child.
We could easily have something where it'd be like the Doctor loses a bunch or whatever, and he's like, "I only got 4 left," or just something like that. Or like I feel like the Time Lords are going to be coming back in a big way in RCD2. I have a feeling about that, and I think they could easily be like, they're not going to be overly happy at the Doctor. I think they're going to be going more down the evil Time Lord route again, for the Time Lords, and they could probably be, taking some of his regenerations or something like that. I think the Timeless Child by the end of RCD2 will be cleaned up, is what I'm saying. I don't mean by the end of Series 14 as Shooty. I think by the end of RCD2, the Timeless Child will be cleaned up. Not explained, but cleaned up. So we'll be back on track with a number system. But he won't have infinite anymore, and it will all be cleaned up.
I hope so, because at the minute I don't like the Timeless Child.
I don't.
I wasn't a fan, but I was on the fence because I
Mm.
was hoping they were going to round it off nicely in Power, and then it just didn't get mentioned
When
once.
we saw that kid in the Sideman, I know I was listening to another podcast and other reviews, and us two as well in our review, which you can also check out on the channel. We both were like, that kid's got to be the Timeless Child. It's like a creature. There's like only one of them, infinite power basically. It's got to be that. That's got
Yeah,
to be the Timeless Child, right? But no,
it
it
was
wasn't.
like they set up the whole fucking watch thing and just didn't
Yeah,
mention
I
it.
know, I know.
So yeah, at the minute I don't like the Timeless Child. So hopefully Russell can do something with it.
Maybe that watch will come up in the 6th shift as a way to like restore the Doctor's history or something. Who knows? Who actually knows at this point? I don't think it will though.
Mm.
I think they're going to be going back to new things rather than going back all the time. Um,
Yeah,
how kind of big do you think the Series 14 arc is going to be? Like, do you think it's going to be like a Flux arc where it's like very linked? Do you think it's going to be like a bad wolf, um, a bad wolf kind of tortured arc, Series 1, Series 2, where it's like they just kind of name dropped? Or is it going to be more like a Series 3, Series 4 arc where you actually kind of see things happening directly? Like, we saw Martha's family being taken in and being questioned, and like that dude was talking to Martha's mum in the Lazarus experiment. And in Series 4, we always like, we were told directly that planet's got lost, the bees are disappearing. We saw like little hints and things dotted throughout. Do you think it's going to be more like that, or more of a name drop, or big like Flux?
I think. I mean, because it's RTD, it could be any of them.
Yeah. I
I
don't think
think
it's
the
going to be like
most
Flux though.
likely and the one that I'd want the most would be the Series 3, 4 style.
Yeah, like I think,
Because
especially
I
with
feel like
how
that works the best,
with
and
how
also
TV is
that was,
today as well. Like we need to be shown a bit more. Um,
yeah,
like I think definitely like those scenes like Martha's family being questioned and we see them listening to the phone and stuff. Stuff like that works a lot better than just naming something on screen. Name something on screen as well. Like Series 3 did that. There was posters saying vote Saxon everywhere as
yeah.
well. But like we didn't need those. Like it would have been fine without those. But yeah, like yeah, it just works a lot better doing that. And then also, if you're doing that kind of thing where they're getting involved with other characters, you can make some of the stakes bigger in the finale if you decide to like impact those characters.
I mean, because also that style became like the standard
Yeah.
after Series 4. Like Series 5 did it, Series 6 did it, Series 7 did it, and probably did one of the best ones.
Series 8 did it because we saw
Uh,
loads of Missy scenes.
yeah,
Series 9 was, well,
the
we,
the hybrid is questionable. Yes,
we, the hybrid, I think he tried to do it, but it didn't work. So,
it didn't. The hybrid just didn't have a payoff, which is what puts the downside on it.
I think because you know how that
Like
story
they
was
didn't
like lots of
really
little
explain it. They
stories.
just kind of went, "Oh, the hybrid is whatever you want it to be," basically.
Like you know how that
That's what
series
it
was
felt
full of
like.
little stories, like really not little, but you had like loads of two-parters. I almost feel like
Yeah,
he didn't want to do a story arc for that series, and he just wanted to have like here's some really good solid solo stories, but then he kind of
and
thought
then
I
just
have to
he
link it.
needed something to set up Gallifrey at the end, basically.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. So I think we can't really count series 9. Series 10, yeah, we saw Missy pop up a lot. The whole kind of arc was her becoming good and all of that. We saw her like frequently pop up. Series
And it
11,
transitioned
yeah,
nicely in Series 10 as well.
yeah, yeah.
Series 11 was just
It didn't.
shit.
Series 11 didn't have one. The arc was Graham, you're not a granddad. Series 12 didn't and did at the same time.
Series 11 and 12 had a whole 2 series arc of Ryan learning how to ride a bike, and he still couldn't at the end.
And then Flux is like its own thing. But yeah, I think definitely the kind of series 3 style. What about then talking of styles? About the 15th Doctor, so Shooty's Doctor's costume, because obviously there's been a few people be like, oh, I think it should just be like some kind of basic sleek thing. Some people want loads of colors. Some people want like how other Doctors just have one outfit, or like a few little different ones every here and there. But then I've seen a lot of people say for him that because he can pull off loads of outfits, and because it would be nice and experimental to do, as well, and it could be really good for figures. To give him loads of outfits, like different episodes. Maybe not every episode have a
Um,
new one, but like every 2 or 3.
yeah.
I think.
Or they could do like a Tenant style costume where he had the brown and the blue one, but just have a few more variations.
Yeah, like 13's t-shirt on a bigger scale.
Yeah,
Almost if like her coat changed with the t-shirt or something. I think
yeah.
yeah, I think that could definitely work. I think an alternative is if they want to go down the route where they do loads of different ones, give him a defining feature. Like how, when you think of Fourth Doctor, you think of scarf and hat. Obviously, don't do the scarf. I don't think that could really work anymore. And also, that was a very hassle for them to film with. I know that. Um, so, give him like a hat. Like I saw on Thari's live stream, he said something like that. Give him a defining hat that he wears throughout all the outfits.
Yeah, because like if and then like 11 had bow tie,
Yeah.
fez.
Yeah, and then Tennant, he had his own outfit. Same with all the other ones; they have their own ones, so they don't necessarily have an extra defining thing. But like, I mean, Ten did have Converse, but that's just I think because he was the first Doctor to wear like a fashionable shoe. Um, so yeah, I think definitely if you're gonna give him loads of outfits, give him something that is defining.
Mm.
How do you feel then about his sonic screwdriver? What do you kind of want it to look like? Because I don't think. Do you think they're going to give him 14's one that's in the 60th, or do you think he'll have his own?
I think he'll have his own.
Yeah, I do as well.
Um, I don't really know what I'd want it to look like,
I do.
but I think I'd want it to be purple,
Mhm.
like the light,
Yeah, the emitter.
and maybe like something silver,
I think
like
I'd.
similar to the like build your own sonic screwdriver toy set thing. There was like a silvery looking one in that, and I think something like that would be quite cool.
I think I'd like to, especially with the diamond logo going back to classics. I'd like one of the more classic design Sonics, like like the kind of Third Doctor, Fifth Doctor kind of ones. But you have it be a lot, you have lights in it, not just light at the top either. You have something down the middle where you can see the light in it as
Mm,
well.
that'd be cool.
Something like that I think would be really nice to see again. I'd love that to have as like a, one of the toy releases. I think that would be a really good figure to have. Not figure, toy, I guess. But,
Yeah.
so yeah, costume, Sonic, we have discussed. Spin-offs. Do you think we talked a lot about spin-offs? I guess we can miss. We are going to be doing a another podcast just focused around spin-offs, by the way. So make sure you subscribe to get that. What are you thinking then about for title sequence? Are you thinking the same kind of purple vibe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Crown as well.
I think purple but not like Jodie's
No.
because I want the vortex again.
Same with all the TARDIS flying through it.
Like, because Jodie's was cool, and
Yeah, I do like hers.
the theme was good.
Yeah, I really
Um,
thought the theme for me did what like Series 4 did, and it got you like, okay, let's go, you know?
yeah, but the actual title sequence with the sort of it just flashing up in the middle with a thing behind it, like
Mm.
it didn't really do
And
much.
it was using a mirror
Um,
effect as well. Like they only really animated half of it, and they just stuck a mirror effect in the
yeah.
middle. That's why loads of things didn't line up with it. And they
Um,
had a
I
really good
think
vortex for her, which they could have used.
I think something like I don't know the maybe the 7B.
I'm either feeling 7B or something like. So, you know the kind of swirly effect in the Sarah Jane title sequence? Obviously, without the numbers.
Yeah,
Something like that, but red and purple. So, very kind of like.
yeah.
Not like almost fluidy, but like not like liquid fluid. Like just kind of like, you can see it and it's very faint. And the TARDIS can just kind of like flow through it, you know? I think that could be really nice, especially depending if they do a more kind of like
Mm.
spacey, wooey theme rather than like a drummy theme. Because we haven't had a wooey theme, I don't think, since. I feel like almost since Classic Who, we haven't had a proper wooey theme. Oh, my example of a wooey theme would be like the Seventh Doctor's theme. So something more like that, like theme wise.
Yeah,
Very spacey, neon kind of theme.
yeah,
We've talked about a lot of, you know, outfits for the Doctors and stuff. And, Tennant's outfit, his Sonic, his TARDIS, everything's kind of calling back to him. What do you think? I mean, his Sonic is kind of just a mix of his one and Eleven's. It's not really much, I guess we can just do a quick yes or no for that. Do you like his new Sonic or not? Obviously, we haven't got
uh,
a perfect picture of it, but from what we see.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
same.
think it's a nice cross between tens and um the river one.
Yeah, yeah, I can kind of see that. I think, how do you feel about his outfit? Do you prefer his outfit to his original ones or not?
Mm, I don't think so. I like the coat, but the rest of it I'm mixed on.
Yeah, I think
Um,
his
just because it feels quite messy at points. So
Yeah, I think his new outfit does feel more. I saw on Twitter that it looked more original, more doctory, because you had the kind of. It doesn't all mix together perfectly. Like I said, it's a bit messy. The tie's a different kind of tie. Like it does feel more original doctory, but I just think I prefer the other one on him.
yeah,
I mean, I definitely do think it fits the kind of 14th Doctor with everything's gone a bit random, gone a bit wrong. But just comparing the outfits and ignoring what they link to, definitely his original ones.
mm.
What do you think of then? You know, do you think Disney Plus good or bad?
Um, it's just good,
Yeah,
really.
I mean they have. I looked. I have some
It's
statistics
one
here.
of
They have 223.1 million or around that subscribers, and obviously if there's like two or so subscribers per account per subscription, you're gonna get like about 440 so million people open to Doctor Who. That's more than the UK combined. Like there's only 60 million or so people in the UK, and we're opening up Doctor Who to 440 million.
mm, it's definitely a great way to get more eyes on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, which it needs at the minute
Yeah.
because the fall off since
Jimmy.
Matt left really.
Yeah. I think as well is that
Oh,
just it being on the homepage is gonna be like watch me. But I think
yeah,
if they have Classic Who on it as well, because it's really hard to get Classic Who outside of the UK.
yeah. That would be a big appeal, not just for Doctor Who, but for Disney Plus as well. Like they'd benefit from that a lot.
Hmm. Just quickly before I ask the final question, which will be about Donna remembering her memories, which we're going to ask everyone who comes on the podcast. By the way, if you want to get involved in the podcast, content creator or not, we have loads of content creators lined up. But if you just want to talk on it with us or about anything you want Doctor Who related, comment down below or join the Discord, give me a ping, because we're happy to have anyone on and talk about anything you want as long as it's Doctor Who related, because this is a Doctor Who podcast. I did have one before which was a little bit different. Maybe we'll do that in the future, depends, but for now this is just a Doctor Who podcast. So yeah, the next thing I quickly wanted to talk about was, I've actually forgotten. I was gonna say Donna's thing was the last thing, but I've forgotten what the next thing I wanted to say was. Um, that's really annoying. I guess we'll pick something else from the talk list then, I guess, which is, what do you want the new TARDIS to look like on the inside? Do you kind of want something big, or like kind of tens, something in the middle ground, like like 12s, or something smaller like Fugitives?
I think I think something like 12s.
Yeah, I do as well.
Um,
I think ten's good. Well, I don't want a small one. I just don't think that I don't want that.
no, I think 12s could work, but instead of having all the silver, like you could have like silver around as like the floor
Mm.
and around the edge and stuff, and then have like a gold and purple console or something.
I feel like in the 60th as well, 14's TARDIS is going to link back to 10 slightly, but obviously be a bit different in places.
Yeah.
Because it can't be Jodie's, because
Uh,
that's been dismantled and sold off.
I think 14s will be like the War Doctors, where it was
Yeah, a good
basically like
mix.
9 and 10's console, but um,
Mm.
had different like walls and stuff.
Well, to finish off then, what do you think Donna, just a yes or no, we're going to ask everyone to see who's right by the time. Do you think Donna will have her memories back of the Doctor by the end of the 60th and be able to remember them and keep them? Or do you think she's going to get them wiped again and lost?
I think she'll get them back.
Yeah, I think she'll get to keep them as well. Even, maybe oh yeah, I was going to say maybe not fully, but I think they will.
I think they will. Because I mean, I've always had the theory of, well, obviously Donna doesn't remember them after End of Time, but did anything from the like flashbacks stick in her mind? And
Yeah,
she's like, does she like have dreams where she sees those things again but can't work out what it is?
like kind of the Doctor in Family of Blood.
Yeah,
Yeah, that works well. Well, that's going to be it for episode 1 of TARDIS Talk, the Doctor Who themed podcast. There is a survey to fill out in the description, and every episode, well, an hour after every episode releases on Sunday, if you're in the Discord and you've given yourself the Dalek role, you will get access to a private video, one unlisted video, where we go through, well, where I go through the results in the survey. So make sure you fill that out, because it'll be very interesting to see. There's lots of questions about the 60th and power of the Doctor in there. Please go do fill it out. Again, if you want to join us, just comment down below and we can sort something out. Thanks for listening. Corey's going to laugh at the outro here. He always does. I don't even do the outro anymore. I only do it for you. I hope you know that. Thanks for listening.
I'm
Have a lovely...
special.
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Bye.
Well, that's just rude.